Twisted Big Sister. Hope you guys are enjoying my channel and enjoy the nuggets I'm dropping on here. Don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe, guys. And hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I have uploaded something. I'm giving this channel some TLC. It's my baby channel, and I want to keep doing that, guys. I talk about practical things. I did start off being on screen, and then now I'm not on screen, but you guys will see me again. I've just been busy doing other things, and rather than trying to set up the lights and everything in the camera, I'm just like, let me just do this, maybe add some music, some things to it, so that we're still touching bases and I'm still doing things. Okay, so guys, let's talk about money. The importance of money. Money is so important. You need it for everything. Okay, it's a necessary evil. Okay, we gotta call it that. Okay, we need it. Okay, and how we manage it is very important, and that comes with time and lessons and maybe trial and error. But let's talk about money when people want to borrow money from you. So let's put it like this. I will say this: never loan money that you can't live without. Okay? Someone asks you for $2,000 and you know that I need my $2,000. It's better you give them $200 if you know you can live without the $200 or the $100. Okay? When you loan someone money, make sure you give them something that, even if you want it paid back to you, you can do without it if you don't get it back. I am puzzled when I see people, adults, fighting over $20 or killing somebody over $50. This means money is very, very tight. If $20, $50. And some people, it's like, it doesn't matter, it's just the principle. But the principle of fighting over $5 is kind of weird to me. But we know there are people who they're borrowing big money from people and they know they cannot pay it back. Okay? But I'm not going to go that far. We're going to talk about your money and why you must be very mindful of who you give money to. So let's talk about your finances and your assets and the things that you have. You are not obligated to tell people how much money you make. People have a way of watching your pockets. And for those of you who may not be familiar with that, is they pay attention to what you drive, where you live, what kind of job you have. They may ask you questions about, what kind of job you have? What you get an hour, okay? In the meantime, it's not because they're looking for work, but they are adding up your money and they're calculating it to see how much they can ask you for, okay? They're looking at what you bought. And sometimes people have this mindset of, they look at the things that you have, and if you bought something, they feel that means you can buy me something too. Hello, if I bought stuff and I just bought a house or I bought a car or I just bought this, that means, excuse me, cha-ching, there has been a deduction. So, hello. But entitled people don't think that way. They're just like, give me what you have. So you have to think about it when people are asking you stuff about what you make. Never disclose how much money you make. Some of you, you're bragging. You're getting on TikTok or whatever, and Facebook. Isn't Facebook kind of fading out? It's coming up like what was that thing? MySpace. I think Facebook is fading. That's just me, but I don't know. I haven't been on it, so. But what I'm saying is, if you're on there with your bands and tossing money and everything, okay, that can make you a target. Okay, me personally, I don't know what I think about that. I think that people who really have wealth and money don't need to do that. But if you have new money, people they're not from old money, and so therefore they think they can toss money. People who are really wealthy, they're not tossing money. A lot of times they look very ordinary, okay? Because they're from old money where there's respect for money. It's value. So it's just not something they throw on the floor or, making it rain. It seems good, but that stuff is for a certain category, a certain group of rich people where they are wealthy, but a lot of times they're spending as quickly as they are acquiring. A lot of times they could be broke even with all that money. All right, they don't have any savings, they don't have any stocks, they have no IRAs, they have no Roth, things of that nature, and and not everybody have that. Okay, sometimes those things are learned, but you would expect that people who are wealthy like that will know how to invest their money. Not all the time. So with that all being said, your average citizen, your average, person is not carrying wads of cash and flashing things on video. You're working, you're doing what you can, you're starting out in the world. So with that being said, you don't need to tell anybody what you make. They ask you, hey, why? That's private. I just want to know. Go look it up. Go look up what you think people make. What people in this specific field will make. Go look it up. I don't discuss my money. Well, why not? Because I don't. I think it's in poor taste. I don't discuss it. Okay? Or whatever you want to tell them. But don't try to avoid telling people what you make, how often you get paid. Try to avoid telling people about any inheritance that you have. Avoid telling people about maybe even the allowance you get from your parents or any money you get monthly for whatever reason. Avoid telling them what you're bringing in from your business. Avoid telling and discussing insurance, even with the people that you have on your insurance policy. Let them be surprised. You'd be surprised what people will do when they realize that, maybe you're insured for $500,000. People are weird. It may not even be your immediate family. It could be someone else. Your grandma or something. But I'm joking, but don't. If you're insured, let people be surprised. Don't tell people, oh yeah, I took out this much insurance, so if I die, because guys, people will be doing things in their life that's so crazy. And even though at that moment they may not even be thinking about it, something will come up in their life that's really serious, and they figure they need to get rid of you so they can get their money on that, get their hands on that money. When it comes to loaning money, I believe that you should try to avoid giving someone money all the time, loaning them money all the time, especially when the person is not trying to do better or get better. Because what happens is over time, people can become dependent on you, they become entitled, and when you're ready to pull it back, you may see a very, very ugly side of that person, especially if they're living with you or you've been providing everything. You don't want to do that for anybody. They need to be able to take care of themselves. Because ironically, a lot of times the people that you are helping while they're taking your money, they can be resenting you for the fact that you have the ability to help them. They're salty about that. They'll take it, but there's a lot of salt with them taking that because you can do things. You can handle things. They have to ask you for things. And they'll get very upset. And especially if it's a man, ladies, I'm going to do a video about that. About the importance of not taking care of a man. Okay? I'm going to tell you about that. Some people may think it's wrong. I'm not a feminist and I'm not one of those that hate men or hate women or anything like that. But ladies, we're going to talk about that. That will be a video in the future. But your money is your money. You've earned it. Now, I'm not encouraging anybody to be selfish. You really shouldn't, because I believe that when you have been blessed and you've been given the ability to make money and to do things, I feel that you should use discretion and just look around you, because maybe there's somebody who has a need. And maybe you can even help them anonymously. That way they don't know the source of it. And they won't keep coming back and getting dependent on you. All right? But you may help someone. You have to sort of think of the situation and what's going on. But people must be in a situation where perhaps you're able to assist them to get them started, but they should be headed in a direction where they can better themselves. Getting into a school, getting into a trade, if you have the ability and they need a bit to go to school, to get into take an apprenticeship or get a certification for something or whatever, no problem. Or they're in school, they're actively taking classes and they're in school and maybe they come up short, right? They need something for some food, for some groceries, they're in the dorms. There's nothing wrong with helping a person as long as they're moving forward and they're helping themselves. They're trying to do better. And it's important that you're not the breadwinner and you're giving them everything all the time. They become totally dependent on you and they're quitting their jobs and they're not doing what they need to do and they're not looking for work and they're being lazy on their jobs because they know that if they get fired, they can come to you for money. You're creating a monster. You also build resentment. That is something I believe. I believe that when people have to ask you for money, there's a certain level of shame. Unless they're like Wimpy from Popeyes, who's going to give you a hamburger Tuesday, going to give you, he pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Some of you are too young to hear that, but if you look it up, those of you who don't know, look up Wimpy from Popeyes. Look it up and look at the video. And watch the video. You'll see who that is. Wimpy will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. That's Wimpy. And there's people who are very comfortable being a Wimpy. They want something now and they promise they pay you back and you're never going to get it. On Tuesday, they'll be asking you for another hamburger to pay you the following Tuesday, okay? These are the tomorrow group. They're never going to give it back. They're never going to pay back. But the bottom line is that they don't want to be better. And so you have to be very careful. Having money or having anything to whatever degree, even though it's not a lot, you have to be responsible. You need to be responsible with the little, and you have to be responsible when you have the increase, when you have a lot of it. You are not entitled to give people your money, but don't be selfish either, guys. If you can help somebody, do help them. My goodness. But you have to also realize that sometimes there are people who they're just waiting for you to give them. They want your money and they feel entitled to it. You're supposed to, well, you own a business. Why can't you give me money? You have a house. You live in this nice neighborhood. They come to your house and they look at your furniture. They look at stuff and not realize you just saved up all these months to finally get this. They'll look at your earrings. They look at your car. They look at your shoes. They don't know that you just took your time and saved up and then you got it. But they'll want your shoes. Can I have these? Can I borrow your shoes? Can I borrow your things? I'll do a video about that. No, you can't borrow my things, especially if they don't have the same things you do. You loan people your stuff and they have never earned it. They've never worked for it. They don't know what it's like to save up for it. They will ruin it. Let me drive your car. No. You have your scooter just thrown out in the front yard. You don't take care of it. You're driving your Datsun with hot dog buns and food, and you don't clean your car. You want to drive my clean car? No, I don't think so. And guys, there's nothing wrong with that. But just be careful, guys, with this loaning out of money. Never give people to stuff that they're asking for. No, you're not it. You're not the loan shark. You have people, I'll pay you back. I give it back to you. Well, then why can't you just wait until next time when you get paid? And in some cases, maybe you can't, but just don't put yourself in a position where you're now going to have to be asking people for your money back, and then they're going to get mad at you, right? Because then they're going to say to you, oh, you running after me for this little $200, or you running after me for this little $500, and you're making money. You see what I'm saying? Now they're going to throw the fact that you should be able to just let them have it. And you can lose friendships. You can lose rapport. can't bring somebody around you. You can't have a wimpy around you. This person's always begging, always trying to get money, always trying to do stuff. You can't bring them around your other friends who's on the same level with you financially, because they'll start to ask your friends, they'll ask your husband, they'll ask your wife, they'll ask your neighbor, they'll borrow money from your neighbors, they'll come to your job and beg somebody for something, and because maybe you have a good rapport or whatever, or they told them a really good sob story, they'll make you look bad. Every human being wants to be able to earn their keep, no matter what, even if they just working at a small job. A young person that's working at Taco Bell, they feel good getting their little check. It's their first job, and they're making their own money and they're trying to do something. May I interject that it's wrong for parents to be that your child is making the small bit of money and then you take the whole check, telling them they need to pay this and that. Like, seriously? Come on now, parents. That's another video. Not saying kids can't help, but geez, you're supposed to be in a position where this young child doesn't have to give you the whole check and they don't have anything. They're not building a savings or anything. You should be showing them how to save and how to put their money aside. And if they want to donate, they can donate what they're able to and allow them to save up and build for themselves in the future. You want your child to have a future built for themselves. And when you take care of your child, you hope your child will have it in their heart to turn around and not forget about you, right? But if they do forget about you, you're still in a place where you're okay. So I've digressed again. I have veered off, but let me digress from that. Don't give people money all the time. Some people don't give it to them at all. Some people have a reputation of borrowing and not giving it back. Just don't give it to them. If you give the person something, give them something that you could afford to lose. And don't be in the habit of giving them money repeatedly, because they'll expect it. Money, greed, and entitlement changes the heart of people. And every human being should be able to earn their own money, be able to, just say, this is mine. And if you aid and abet a person in being complacent and in being lackadaisical and being slothful, it's going to bite you. It's going to come around and bite you. So just use discretion. And all of us have been in a place in our life where we've had to borrow. Maybe things were tight. You're meant to pay it back, but then you're going from paycheck to paycheck. We've all had things happen. I've experienced things before, in the early phases of my life, things that I've gone through, things that I've learned, lessons that I have learned myself, okay? And so I'm able to talk about these things. Don't borrow unless you can pay it back. Don't borrow more than you can pay back. When you borrow and you give back, you want to be able to give that person. Sometimes you can't give it to them with interest, but the very thing, you want to be able to give it back to that person. And if for some reason something happened and you were not able to give it back, you don't avoid the individual and all that stuff. You need to be straight up, and everything in you, give that money back. Because we can't take from a person and not give it back and then expect that we're going to prosper, right? So just keep that in mind, guys, about loaning people money. It can become very dangerous. Don't tell people about your finances and what you make. And be mindful of who you bring around you. Pay attention to those red flags. Envy is unmistakable. When envy shows its face, it's going to be unmistakable. It's going to shock you. And what does that mean? When you have somebody around you who's shifty and who's envious of you and your accomplishments, one day, if it hasn't happened to you yet, you're going to look up and you're going to see them giving you this look. It's going to be a blank look on their face, but it will be filled with so much hate, and it's going to be so shocking that when you blink again and you look, it'll be gone. But you have to remember that you saw that. You don't have to confront the person, because a lot of times they're not even realizing that their heart have been exposed. But just be careful. With the increase comes great responsibility, no matter what it is. You don't have to be a baller. You don't have to be someone who's making a lot of money. Okay? You may just be making $1,500 a month, but it's still more than someone else. And so you just have to respect your money. You have to put it away carefully. You have to guard it in the sense of no one needs to know your business and what you're doing and what you have coming in and how often you get paid. And when you loan people, I won't say like a miser or a selfish person, but do not be in a habit of just going and flashing a bunch of cash in front of people, because there's something about money, the love of money, or some people that have the lack of it, that they will lock in. It will make them start thinking murderous things and evil things, and they get angry at you because they think, well, I saw you just go to your safe, or I saw you just deposit all this money, and you can't let me have $300. You're only going to give me $100. So all of a sudden 100 is not enough, because they're aware and saw you make a deposit from your business for X amount of dollars. They see you getting that envelope from the bank from your business. And so they already have money, but let me ask you for this. And if you don't give it to me, they begin to covet the things that you own. The things that you own, and the things that you've earned, and the things that you've had, and the things you've worked hard for, and the classes you took and really had to take again to finally get this degree and to get to this point, and the hard work and the discipline. It is yours to enjoy, and there's nothing wrong with that. And nobody can just come with their soup coolers trying to dip into your soup that you have worked so hard to heat up and to make it good. Everybody want to come and dip their biscuit. They want to dip their bread in what you work hard for and get mad at you because look at the bowl. This is a designer bowl. Why you can't give it to me? That's what happens when you deal with people with money. Don't be a selfish person. Even with the little you have, always do an act of kindness for someone, regardless of what it could be. It could be a small scale. Okay? But sometimes, guys, find people that's far from you. You can do stuff for, or a little grandma. You give her a little something. But you're going to recognize entitled people that feel like they have a right to ask you. And you need to give it to them. No, you can create a leech. And it can become dangerous. The person can become resentful. They can become jealous. They can decide to sabotage your business, sabotage your whatever you have going for yourself, because you were given the money and they got used to it and now you stopped. Does that make sense? Money can destroy friendships. So only give what you can afford not to have. Still use discretion in how much to give a person, and try to avoid being in a habit of constantly giving someone something. You're going to know, because they're going to keep coming back and keep coming back, and they're asking you for more, and they're asking you for more, and they're asking you for more. No. What you can do is lead them to the resources and say, hey, you can do this, you can do that. And a lot of times you'll see how serious they are about getting stuff. They'll get an attitude with you. Lead them to charity sometimes. Not saying you cannot help, but when you recognize that pattern, give them the numbers to charities. Give them the numbers to places that they can go to. Because if a person is hungry enough, they're gonna get up and they're gonna go out there to the places, the pantries where they can get groceries. They're gonna go to the places where they will help them to get a job, a work, a trade. They will do what they need to do. But when they get an attitude with you and say, well, why can't you give me? Why come I can't have your stuff? Why come? That's when you know you're dealing with someone who is entitled, that does not want to be better, but feel like you owe them. And you don't. All right, guys, don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.